government with Anggara as the first speaker and Bima as the second speaker. Then from open opposition, we have economic with Krishna as the first speaker and Abdel as the second speaker. Meanwhile, in closing bench, we have Sef A as the closing government with Cindra as the first speaker and Awalia as the second speaker. Lastly, from closing opposition, we have Humanity A with Iin as the first speaker and Rafi as the second speaker. The adjudicator for today is Mr. Surya and Ms. Felicia. Then the motion for this debate is this House believes that the final goals of feminism should be liberalism rather than intersectionality. Now let's start the debate. I call for the first speaker of opening government. Mr. Anggara, the time is yours.
Kalau aku sampai megang.
Thank you for the time that was given to me. First of all, I am the representative of the opening government. I am as the first speaker. First of all, our motion today is this House believes that the final goal of feminism should be liberalism rather than intersectionalism. First of all, I would like to tell you the story of the feminism. Feminism is the movement that all of women that want to be equal right of men, but the way of women see the feminism is very different than each other. There is liberalism, intersectionality, and religion and scientific. And I would like to bring the definition that I have gathered. The liberalism feminism believes both women and men complement men have the same opportunity, because liberalism, it means you're free to do what you want to do, and you're free to choose what you want to choose. Liberalism feminism basically want women to have the same opportunity as men, with women could choose whatever they want to be. Basically, when it comes to human rights, there's a lot of fundamental aspect about it. Human have right to live, but the most important thing, human have right to choose. The liberalism feminism believe that women could choose whatever they want to be, because this aspect is already written in the human right. And the intersectional liberalism, the intersectional feminism believe that there is a lot of factors when it comes to women oppression in a woman's life. Intersectional feminism force women prioritize community over themselves. Women having big dream only to be destroyed by the stereotype that society given to them, and that is what women should stay home and raise their kid. Basically, if you are, imagine you are a little girl, there's a little girl, and say that she wants to become a doctor, and people will say, "Oh, that's cute. Someday you will be the one." And at the end of the day, when she becomes an adult, and a lot of people will say, "You are not. Why you are not getting married? Because you are already old." Okay, people. The society is ironic, I think. I believe, because at the end of the day, no matter how far you go, if you are a woman, society itself will only give you stereotype that women should take care at home and raise their children, but not catching their dreams. Okay. There's a example of this. For this problem, there's a girl that wants to become the Minister of Education, and her friend asks her why. Then she answered, "Because I want to change the current educational system. It is not effective." She also really wants to study abroad after high school. That's why she studied so hard. She almost had no sleep just to get scholarship Sadly, it went a complete disaster. Turned out that her family was very conservative, or in the other main case, intersectional. They didn't want her to go to college. They didn't accept her to continue studying after high school. But instead, her father had arranged a marriage for her with a man. They want her to become a housewife, have children, and stay at her parents' house so she could take care of them. Of course, if you are if you are all of you in the exact position like the woman that I have been told, the story that I have been to you, you must be devastated because the society doesn't give you the same opportunity as the men do. Then I believe that liberalism, feminism is the best way to give in is the best way to uphold the human right. I strongly believe that intersectionality feminism believe that women are weak and powerless. But in reality, a lot of women have even bigger role than men itself. If we look at our country, in our lovely country, to be exactly, Indonesia had its first female president, Megawati Soekarno Putri, in 2001. If that is not enough, many ministers and government in Indonesia consist of women, like Sri Mulyani, like as the Minister of Finance, Susi Puji Astuti as the Minister of Maritime, Ave and Fisheries, and Tri Risma Hari as the Governor of Surabaya, and to name a few. This woman that I give you example is the powerful woman. They have achieved the achievement that even man can do. Okay, so I believe that women could choose whatever they want to be and what they want to do. Women are not weak, they are human too. Of course, they want to achieve the best in their life, so do not restrict them for chasing their dreams. I believe wholeheartedly that every one of you here think differently from our ancestral way of thinking. So if you become a parent someday in the future, I'm begging you from my deepest heart, please, if you have a daughter, let her choose what she wants to do. I know parents want the best of their children, but what is best for their parent may not the best for the girl. I believe in your future parents, and that's all for me, for my argument, and thank you for your attention, and have a good morning.
Mr. Anggara has spent 6 minutes 38 seconds. Now let's move to the next speaker, Ms. Risnawati.
Ladies and gentlemen, as general, the opening government said to you that the liberalism is can make individual women itself get what they want in terms of like human right or right to choose. What here we believe that the most important thing is not the individual of women itself, ladies and gentlemen. It's about the all women. No matter what they are from the race or gender or ability ethnicity, but the feminists must achieve is the goal to reach the majority of women. I mean all of women, ladies and gentlemen, and it will be achieved when we use intersectionality feminism, ladies and gentlemen. And I will explain that in my argument. Our goal is we want all women is realize the this fighting oppressed together, and it will create the solidarity between the women itself, ladies and gentlemen. And move to our rebuttal that the opening government say to you that yes, right to choose is important, but we know that the generated value from the community itself is doesn't mean the right to choose is banned from that doesn't mean women don't have right to choose again, ladies and gentlemen. Because there is generated value, that generated value itself is take from the community that women live, ladies and gentlemen. So the women can apply the right to choose itself. First, my first argument is why the intersectionality feminism is should be the final goal. We know, ladies and gentlemen, that like individual women, like we know that many individual women have success, such as Michelle Obama, Nicki Minaj, ladies and gentlemen. But we know that many black women is still suffer, ladies and gentlemen. This because we see the action just through the individual, ladies and gentlemen. What we should do is create generated value. The generated value itself come from the community itself. I mean, when you from the Muslim, the generated value feminism come from your philosophy of your life. And when you come from the people, so the generated value is come from what your hope is, ladies and gentlemen. And why the generated value is more, the intersectionality is more achievable and can more give good impact. Ladies and gentlemen, when the community they have same value, and then they coordinate all the women who doesn't realize that they are oppressed by the culture. We realize, ladies and gentlemen, when the community itself empower them, so we can help the women who doesn't realize that they are oppressed by the culture, ladies and gentlemen. This is more important than we let them to be through the liberalism, which is yes, there is a success women, but it's just few, ladies and gentlemen. This is a case per case basis, ladies and gentlemen. What we need to do is make them realize the general value, even if we should boil the certain preference, ladies and gentlemen, but it's still okay, ladies and gentlemen, because the generated value itself is even the generated value itself should point up boils down the choice of individual feminism, but still it's still okay because when the goal is specific, which is the generated value, and when we pursue that together, it will more achievable rather than the individual. And also, when we let individual to choose their own way to get the equal itself, it will make this integrated between the woman itself, ladies and gentlemen. Because what? Because in the community itself, when there is so many and different ways that backlash each other, it's bad for women when they are fighting other women and they are insist with the way and they are and many women is critic them. And this make the woman disintegrated in the community itself, and it's bad, ladies and gentlemen. What women need to do to reach the equality is fighting together, ladies and gentlemen, rather than spoke about what they different way. And also, even if there is a woman that her words is boils down by the generated community, but it's still okay because women can realize that yes, my goal is important, but I don't think that only me. I don't think just only me. I think about the majority of women, and it's real good to women to empathy with each other, ladies and gentlemen, to tolerate their interest for the majority of women, ladies and gentlemen. So we oppose this motion.
Mr. Wati has spent 8 minutes, 4 seconds. Now let's move to the next speaker, Mr. Bima.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I, as the representative of the government team, acting as the Deputy Prime Minister, and we also represent the liberal feminists. And in this motion, which we believe that the final goal of feminism should be the liberalism instead of the intersectionality feminists. First of all, I would like to address a few issues that has been said by the leader of our opposition team. That she said that there are women that do not realize that they are oppressed. Isn't that supposed to be our argument? Like, as liberal feminists, which side are you on actually? The opposition team leader also had a slip up. She said that yes, the right to choose is important. That is our core as the liberal feminists. The choice instead of the community values, individual rights. And she also said that black women are still suppressed or oppressed, and suffering. How do you know that? Where is the data? And where's the evidence? Right, moving on to our arguments for this motion. Firstly, we'd like to address the issue that intersectional feminism is just an obedience feminism. Community-generated values are created by men to maintain society and the order of society itself. However, we would like to argue that these values are the ones usually used to control women. Conservative society expects women to be obedient, and this has been happening in these recent years. For many generations, women has this stereotype, and our goal as liberal feminists believe that these women should have the choice and the right to fight back against all these values that has been oppressing them. Feminism is all about making change. We have the right to fight against the status quo. That's why we become feminists. Women also become feminists because they are tired about being told what to do, what to wear, who to marry, etc., etc. It's their lives. Community has no right to tell them otherwise. And for the example, as already stated by our Prime Minister, many aspiring young girls studied hard, both in school and in college, because they aspire to be workers, they aspire to be doctors, they aspire to be strong women. But the society holds them back. That's why we fight. Feminism is all about changing the current condition, the status quo. Saying that intersectional feminism provides choice to the woman is no different than saying slavery system gives choice to be the master or to be the slave. Intersectional feminism only means that we have given up our struggle in the first place. The next argument that we would like to deliver is, we as the liberal feminists supports true fundamental human rights. The goal is freedom of individual above community. This is also supported by the Bill of Rights, the freedom of expression, the freedom of choice. Women has already freedom of expression, but not all women have the freedom of choice. Yes, and intersectional feminism is an illusion of freedom. They say that women have the choice to be themselves. They have choice to choose their individual rights over community, or they can choose the community values over themselves. We believe this is not the case. Looking at the reality, what's happening out there, I would like to give an example. The women in Islam are told that they have to wear hijab, or we would like to say veils, or at least dress moderately. Now, we have nothing against the religion, but concerning freedom of choice, this is against the Bill of Rights. The women are free to choose what they wear, what to do, and what they believe. Society has no holdings against women, and the choice, it's all individuals, not on the society, not on this community. When the women do not follow these community values, they will be shunned, they will get depressed, they will be ostracized, they will get bad reputations, and people will look down on them. And intersectional feminists believe that this is good. The community values is a choice for them to follow. We do not think this is the case. That's not a choice. That's something we have to fight for. We, the feminists, must fight for the status quo, for all freedom of women in this world. Thank you.
Mr. Bima has spent 7 minutes and 11 seconds. Now let's move to the next speaker, Mr. Abdul.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the opening of the government said that the problem in this motion, it's not about whether we support the liberalism of the feminist, the women itself, ladies and gentlemen, because we believe that every feminism goals is to support the women liberalism against the patriarchal value and etc. Ladies and gentlemen. But I want to explain again about the difference between liberal feminism and personal feminism briefly. First, liberal feminism is mainly focused. They think that focus is fighting against the patriarchal value, but we believe that in the intersectional feminism, it's not only the patriarchal value, but also the race, the culture, the ethnics, and etc. That means that our problem or our argument and side is have more urgency rather than the government itself. Because of what? Because our scope is not narrow not against only patriarchal value, but also the race and another kind of problem that hamper the women activity, etc. Ladies and gentlemen. First, I want to rebut the opening government argument. They say that the stigma of the opposition and the stigma that oppress the women is only come from the patriarchal value, ladies and gentlemen. But we believe the stigma that oppress the women to do their rights, to do their freedom, is not only from the patriarchal value, but also the other kind of things that like race and etc. That, for example, we believe that there is rights or to choose in India, ladies and gentlemen. But we believe that in India itself, there is in rural India, there is a lot of women that cannot take school, not because the patriarchal value, but the ethnics itself, the race, the gender itself, ladies and gentlemen, and the class itself, because the India have a class between high class, middle class, and lower class. That means that the class in India oppress the women to not join in school, to not join any kind of activity in the status quo right now, ladies and gentlemen. And also, they say that the women have big role. Yes, we believe that women have big role, ladies and gentlemen, but we believe that the role of the feminist itself not only fulfilled by those kind of example like minister, Susi, and etc. So we believe that the final goal in the status quo right now, it's not only for the right of the women itself, but also the problem in the community of the women itself, ladies and gentlemen. And also they said that the democratic value of the intersectional feminism is come from the men, but we believe not necessarily, because intersectional feminism means that we as a feminism represent a kind of race, kind of race, etc. that support not only the feminism value, but also the race to be equal with another race and another gender itself, ladies and gentlemen. And also they said that if we choose intersectional problem, international feminism, that means that we given up our struggle and it's create illusion of freedom itself. But we believe that how it can be create illusional and given up our struggle, we believe that it's final and it's prolonging the feminist movement itself to achieve the ultimate goal. It's the intersectional feminism. And also they said that this kind of liberal feminism, it's through freedom, but we believe that through freedom, it's not only come from against patriarchal value, but also against the race itself, ladies and gentlemen. Move to my first argument is why the liberal feminism goal is not final and intersectional feminism is final. First, the liberalism goal is already achieved, ladies and gentlemen. For example, in this slide we know that women have a legal and political rights of women equal to men. In the status quo right now, this kind of thing is already happening in the status quo. For example, the women can choose voting, they can have property of right, because this kind of thing is already solved by the feminism wave 2 to 3, ladies and gentlemen. So we believe that this kind of liberalism feminism is already achieved and etc. And also for there is no women that treated by their gender. That means nothing. For example, like in Canada there is a toilet, there is no gender. There is no gender toilet. That means that the women have there is no natural pronoun, and it is already achieved. So we believe that intersectional feminism is final because of what? Because intersectional feminism bring many problems, not only from the practical value but also from the other value. For example, like in Korea itself, in Korea there is a lot of entertainment community, entertainment business that make idol and etc. But we believe that there is a few idol that come from another country because the people of the Korea itself in the business itself believe that another people from the Korea from other Korea, it's not hard to challenge and compete in this entertainment itself, ladies and gentlemen. And also move to the second argument is why intersectionally feminism is create betterment for the feminism itself, ladies and gentlemen. We believe that we not only focus on the men but also focusing problem the women from the women for women itself, ladies and gentlemen. For example, like in the white in the America, there is a lot of women who there is a black women and the white women. The black women have less wage rather than the white woman. This is showing to you that the women there is not only the patriarchal value problem but also the racial problem. But then we want to create the international feminism as a final goal because we can solve this problem more widely and more across race and etc. So we believe that if we do this, we can like throwing one stone and we get two birds. So that's why we get this motion.
Mr. Abdel has spent 7 minutes and 17 seconds. Now let's move to the next speaker, Ms. Cindra.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think from both of the opening is only focusing about something that we think is unclear. Let's take an example. When the opposition says they do believe that actually they can fight against culture with the intersectionality feminist and they will create a betterment, but they don't explain how in the end it will create a betterment and how in the end we can fight against the culture, while we on the other side we will explain you why in the end of the day we cannot fight the culture if we stick to the community. And if what they want, such as equality and such as if they do believe that we can fight against culture, if we can prove that actually this will also happen in our side, it means we tackle down the opening debate. So to engage with the opening debate, I will give some response to the what opening opposition already said. I think when they said that actually there is independent women such as Obama who have that kind of power, but there are still lot of black women still under oppressed. We think it's not because she is an intersexual, ladies and gentlemen. It's because she is privileged. Even if she is not privileged, she has that kind of liberal. Because why? Because she moves against the culture. This one is called liberal, but this liberal also happened because she got privilege. So I think the example that they bring is not enough and it's not clear. And I think there is something mistaken that when the second speaker said that actually the status quo is okay, woman is not having a problem because right now woman has a woman, then why we debate right now, ladies and gentlemen, that all of your urgency, all of your rebuttal and so on and so on is not counted because you say in the end of the day that woman is okay, then why we should debate? Okay, what is our extension here? As the closing government, we do believe that actually what intersectionality want will happen in our side too. So when we do liberalism, feminism, the intersectionality feminism will also happen in our side. But first, let's agree that actually opening government has already told you how problematic the status quo right now. How actually patriarchy and its culture exist. That's why it's oppressed women But the more problematic in here, this kind of patriarchy, this kind of culture in so far and so is invisible, ladies and gentlemen. The woman, the men don't know that actually this kind of problem exists. That's why they cannot fight back. That's why the culture has more power, and it is the characteristic of the culture. So we do believe that actually when you want to reach the goals of feminism, we should be liberalist, because liberalism brings you equality through individual choices. How we will support you by, we will empower you about your value as woman. We will pointing out what is wrong with the status quo through seminar, through speech, through social movement, and so on. And this how we will break the status quo, the problematic. Now that we will break down the culture that makes everyone invisible about this problematic. I will give you 3 arguments. First, I will talk about the principle of freedom of choice, and the second, the comparative if we being liberal. First, freedom of choice as an individual. We do believe that actually intersectional feminists limits women's choices, because if you, ladies and gentlemen, if you lose like now, if you stick to the status quo, if you stick to the community where the community is privileged by the culture that oppress women, it means you will lose tomorrow, ladies. You cannot lose right now because you will lose tomorrow. That's why we must fight back. Because why so? Because feminists stands for equality, and in achieve that kind of quality, you have to be selfish, ladies and gentlemen. You have to put your value first over the community. Because why? Because the community is privileged, is blinded by this kind of culture that women cannot do anything, women are oppressed, women cannot do that political, women can do that, and so on and so on. You must be selfish and put your value first, because you are valued no matter what, ladies and gentlemen. The premise is like this. First, you own your value. It means that when you get what you want fairly, you get your right fairly, you get your voices fairly. You don't cheat anything, you don't bring bad impact to anyone. It means you reach you gain your value by your own self, and this is why we should appreciate what the women do. And this is why, in the end of the day, you are okay to do what you think you are right, in case you are not bring bad impact to the society and you gain it fairly. We want to balance happiness over pain, because yes, women are oppressed since a long time, and right now we want to bring happiness. But secondly, the self-interest between women and between the intersectional is not in line. That's why they cannot move with together. The self-interest, the interest of women is they want to show their self, but they are oppressed. Yes, we know that. But when the self-interest of women itself is to show yourself and uphold your value, it means that when you are being the intersectional feminist, it means you prioritize your community, you degrade your value, and you prioritize your community. Because why? Because you think your community is what makes you bring here. This is also the paradigm that's wrong. We don't want women to support that kind of femininity, this kind of community. We don't want women to join this community, but you have to stand alone, because in the end of the day, the characteristic of the culture is first, this is your behavior, you hold it for a long time, you don't interact, you don't have any interaction with good people. That's why this kind of culture is in your blood, is rooted in your blood. That's why it is very hard for you to get out from this culture, and that's why by getting the liberal feminism will bring you out from this culture, because you understand your value by our model like empower you. The second argument is the comparative. If we're liberal right now, we know that it won't be easy, it will be hard, because there is women, in short term women will feel oppressed more, but I think this is something worth to pursue. Because why? Because the culture right now is powerful, but this kind of powerful because man is more powerful, because because the culture of the patriarchy. But we need women to understand that you are valued, that you are oppressed. By giving you the understanding about this oppression, we want to give the narrative to you that this culture is problematic. We understand that feminists as a social movement want something to change, want to empower the value of the woman. But how in the end, what they want and what we want is also happening if we are being liberal feminists. First, we will build communication, ladies and gentlemen. When we do this kind of thing like seminars, speeches, social movement, it will create the narrative that in the society that we will make you realize that you have more than what you want. We will empower you, and that's how you will realize. That's why you can against the leader that oppress you. That's why you can against what is opposing to you. But secondly, why in the end of the day it will solve the big issue the legal right on politics, right? Because when the feminists come and solve the big problem like this kind of problem, it means that the feminists exist and bring you tangible benefit, because we can solve your problem if you know that you are in trouble and you do what you have to do. People will think that the liberals we will protect you, and that's how the tangible benefit is. That's why I believe that what they want will happen in our side, and our goals as the feminists is also will happen. We beg to propose.
Ms. Indra has spent 7 minutes and 37 seconds. So let's move to the next speaker, Ms. Vivian.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Well, first of all, let me clarify to you that the definition of this motion today is not about the culture, and feminists are not in line. The culture and feminists are not in line with the value or with the goal of the feminism itself. But here we say to you that the definition of this motion is that culture and feminism is work together or in line together. So if there are feminists, so there must be follow the culture and follow the rule of the culture itself from the community. But the opening oppositions has wrong definition about this motion, that they talk about we have to fight the culture and then we just want to stay in the feminism and etc. But we say here that the culture and feminism is working together here and in line with the culture itself, such as if you are in the culture, for example, in the religion's rule, you must to wear hijab, and then because I'm a feminist, so you are allowed to join in a politics, you are allowed to join in you are allowed to expose your voice and etc. So this is just working together with the culture itself. So here, okay, let's me rebuttal for the opposition. They said about the feminist women must prioritize themselves rather than prioritize the community or prioritize the value of society and etc. Ladies and gentlemen, here the feminist women live in the society. They live in a community, which they must be accepted there, but not live alone inside the society. So there must be acceptance of society. So that's why So that's why the feminist women must think also about how they will be accepted in society if they been or they not allow the rule of the community itself. Okay, let me give you my arguments. I have 3 arguments here. The first is why intersectionality must be the final goal of feminism, and the second, why intersectionality more accepted in society, and the third one is why women is better with intersectionality. The first one is why intersectionality must be the final goal of feminism. Okay, let's see. If we compare to liberalism means that the goal is the women can do anything that they want, can take or can do anything that they want. But if they not in line with the culture, so it is okay. But ladies and gentlemen, here if liberalism exists, I think this is too much. Why it is too much? Because it's like a utopia, ladies and gentlemen. Because erasing gender, for example, sexual liberation, for example. If sexual liberation, so it means that if women not prepared, for example, so it's okay. So if men not be gentle or etc. But it's okay. But ladies and gentlemen, here, if we think that sexual liberation is like a freedom in every culture, it means that we do not know the nature of the women itself. So just take an example of neutral pronoun. If we let neutral pronoun exist in our society, it means that we just make it difficult to the communication for each community, such who is a woman also. So I just say they, but just make it difficult to communicate each other also. So that's why we have to believe that it must be intersectionality rather than liberalist feminism. No thanks. So here we believe that it is not good if we just erase the gender, but we must to stay in their nature as a women. So we just follow the culture and we just run with our feminism value. Just take an example, like if we are a mother, so we just, because of the culture, for example, the culture of Indonesia, if the mother at home they raise their children and then they have a role of cooking, etc. But outside they will working and then they will just go to somewhere based on their interest. So it's okay if both of them, the culture of women and then also the role of the women runs together, not just one of them which run. And then the second argument is that why intersectionality more accepted in society? Well, I said before that social acceptance is needed, very needed here, because we know that the culture cannot be changed if you know that the culture is rooted from the past, and then become the culture nowadays, and then it is rooted, created by the and then like a man and women, we can compare that the women more like lemah lembut, and then the man is like a gentle, and then like that. So we cannot change that. Okay, the man is like this, the woman is like this. So the man just go for the woman at home, like growing the children, and then the man is looking for money, for example. And then so it is a human nature that feminists can do like a woman, like a man does, but they is still in line with the culture itself. So it's like a stereotype that women like this and then the man is like this, but we just state that here that the woman can do anything that they want, but still in line with the culture. And then the last argument is why women is better with intersectionality, because it is not obedience only. It's not obedience, it is just coexist with its nature or with the culture in the community. Why coexist is better? Because we know that obedience is always be there, ladies and gentlemen. It's not only women but also men. So maybe like men can do a job, and then women can also do a job. It's not only men but women can do. And then men can obey the rule of society, and then women can also obey the rule of the community. So that's why obedience is always be there. But here we just coexist the culture of feminism, culture and feminism. Then so that's why I propose this motion. Thank you.
Ms. Iin has spent 7 minutes, 18 seconds. Now let's move to the next speaker, Ms. Amalia.
If you can see that only nowadays that all of people come to West country from the Asian and Africa country that having war and having so on and become refugee and Western country, and they accept it because they feel that savior in there, and most of them are women and children, and we believe in here that they all feel safe because there are feminist movement in there also, that they will feel safer in there, and because that kind of thing we think that liberal feminism should be a final goal, because the problem is when they become an abusing by their husband and their father and so on, and so far they cannot go to work. Feminists cannot be in there. The feminists cannot moving to work feminism is their value, but we think it's not the value when it becomes becoming a problematic. And several rebuttals coming to opposing opposition. They say that the culture feminist, the nature of gender and so on and so forth, it cannot be changed, but we think that the gender itself is one of the social constructions happening in our side of the house in this world. And by this kind of thing, we think it is hard. Yes, it's hard to change the people's mind or to change what the culture happening, but we think it is worth it because at the end of the day, we don't want to any equalization not going to be happen in the society, but because we want it, you on your value, not only just follow your community, even if your community is wrong, even if your community abusing you, even if your community happening to taking off your right. And they also said that intersectionality want to live with, because the intersectionality want to be accepted in society. But we know that the acceptance is not only by the woman itself should be, but without the society itself. But we can. The thing is that when the woman individually think that intersectionality is the best, they plainly think that this kind of problem is impossible, that my first speaker already said. And that's why we think that the liberal feminists should be the best problem. And about the opening opposition, they said what they always saying, that they want the cultural school get the thing about the cultural should be accepted and so on and so forth, and understanding and so on. But we think that the opening government doesn't understand and only explain about the liberal itself. But we know that in our side of the house, as closing government, we are talking about how we get the liberalism itself, because the principle of the liberalism that we already talked is the freedom of choice. It's called it is only could get by the liberalism itself, the opportunity, the express, and the thing that you follow, what you culture, what you want, it can only also get by the liberalism itself. And the progress that the woman can get anything like nowadays, they can go to work, they can be anything, be president, or anything that nowadays is happening, is because of the liberal or feminist itself. It's not going to happen by the intersectionality of the feminist. It happened because the liberal feminist pursuing what against what the condition is real. And the outcomes by the feminist itself, that we can protect all the woman itself, even if you are in the western or east side or Asian, Africa, we can all get together to be protected by the liberalism itself, because you are pursuing yourself, your value. That's what the thing we want to be happen. In the end of the day, the intersectionality woman can also be the final to the liberalism itself. Yes?
We believe that in Mexico right now, there is a lot of community fight for the point of the community, and it's still many hammering problem. So we believe that your argument is still intangible, because the fighting for the good itself is not enough.
No, we think that what the community wants is not thinking only about the woman, but the problem is the community is never thinking about the woman. The thing is that we want the woman to embrace themselves and then you can choose your community. For example, if you're liberalism and then you want to use your hijab, it is okay, because you have your value for the first time. It is your choice. That's what the liberalism wants. What's your choice is what's making you in that kind of thing will making the woman itself feel freedom. Then that kind of thing will never happen in the intersectionality feminism, because they only oppress, they only force someone to going back to the community value itself. But we don't want it to be happen, because in the end of the day, they only making the woman feel suffer, and we don't want women to be suffer anymore. And why we should win in this debate? Because we understand every woman in this country, not only the Western, not the country with the liberal value itself, but we think about the woman in the Asian, in the Africa, when they feel oppressed, we know that the liberalism is the answer for the feminist value in there, because they don't understand the thing. We should making them understand that kind of thing. We should be why we should the final goal of the feminism itself should be embraced. Thank you.
Ms. Puput has spent 6 minutes and 27 seconds. Now let's move to the next speaker, Mr. Rafi.
You have to agree here that liberal feminism is a utopia feminism. It is a utopia that cannot be achieved by the feminism itself. Why I call it utopia? Because they want to fight the culture that has been rooted in our community for a long time, ladies and gentlemen. It has been rooted, and it makes our human being, it makes our social role for the long time, and they come here and they want to fight the culture that already exists for a long time, and they want to fight the culture and the society also. So the social acceptance will not be achieved in this kind of liberal feminism. What we want here from the closing opposition is that we don't want to fight the culture itself. Yes, I agree that there are so many oppressions to the women in the culture, but what the closing opposition wants here in this debate here, we want to achieve a feminism that coexists with the culture. We fight the coexist here doesn't mean that we don't fight any cultural oppression that oppress the women, but we want to fight those kind of oppression, but we want to still coexist with the culture. It means that we doesn't fight with any kind of we doesn't fight with any kind of culture that has been exist in our community, such as we doesn't want to make any, for example, we doesn't want to make any pronoun for the woman to not show any gender. To fight for the example like that, to fight the pronoun, it means that we want to fight this something that already exists for a long time ago, and it will not work well if the feminism wants to still coexist with the society. We believe here, ladies and gentlemen, that by fighting culture rather than coexist with it, it means that the feminism is going to make their own culture. What culture are the feminism is going to make? But with the coexist with the culture, it means that we still embrace the culture that our forefather or our foremother has given to us, and we still coexist with the society. Let's see, the liberal feminism can the women in liberal feminism can choose what they want. So it means that they can reject the parenting role if the woman still thinks they don't want the parenting role. If the woman think they cannot be a wife, if the woman think they cannot be a mother, so they just neglect it. But here, what we don't want, ladies and gentlemen, the nature of women should be there. The culture of women should be there. Women should still be a wife. Women should still be a mother. Because here is a role of mother, a role of woman, and we doesn't want to erase this kind of nature and this kind of culture of mother. But here, we still embrace those kind of culture and those kind of nature. But we still believe that we must get the acceptance, we must get the acknowledgement for women to pursue their right, to pursue their career in the individual. We give the example that Sri Mulyani, Tri Mahardani, and Susi Puji Astuti, they still coexist with their culture. They still become a man. They still become a wife. They still become a mother. But do they fail in their career? No, ladies and gentlemen. It is what the intersectional feminism want to achieve, ladies and gentlemen. It means that the women still be in their nature, but they can still pursue their career and they can still be equal in the man in another field. But they don't forget that they are a woman. The failure from the government team. The government team, from all the government team, they fail to understand about intersectionality feminism. They think that intersectionality feminism, it means that we don't fight for women. It means that we just obey all of the culture says to us. No, ladies and gentlemen, intersectionality feminism still fight for women. We still fight any culture that limit women to pursue their career and to be equal with men in their career or in their form. But we want here, by fighting those kind of inequality, we want to still coexist with the culture. It means that when the culture says that you must wear hijab, you wear hijab is not because your choice. You wear hijab because your culture, your religion value says you to do so. It is not because you are liberal feminism so you wear hijab, but you are intersectionality feminism that you wear hijab and you still get education in this university. So this is what we want here, ladies and gentlemen. We still want to embrace the culture and we still want to show the women the power in their another field. And they fail to understand that the intersectional feminism is not obedient feminism. Obedience, ladies and gentlemen, culture. We must obey to culture, whether or not we are a man or we are a woman. Culture must be obeyed. But here, ladies and gentlemen, obeying in culture doesn't mean that the women should always obey in the culture. Obey what the culture says. If the culture says women cannot achieve the same level of education than a man, it means that we feminism, we also fight for them, ladies and gentlemen. So intersectionality feminism doesn't mean that we don't fight for women. We fight for women, but we still embrace the culture. What dangerous from the government team proposal is that the government team proposal, they say they want to selfish and they want to forget culture as long as the women can achieve everything that they want. It is what dangerous, ladies and gentlemen, because when the women still selfish like that, it means that there will be no social acceptance. Social acceptance will be achieved if the women and the culture coexist each other. So it is dangerous even if the government team said that in the culture man is more powerful. Yes, man is more powerful in culture. But here we also the intersectional feminism also fight for this, also want to deconstruct the powerful men in the culture, so that the men and women in culture must be equal also. From the opening opposition failed to explain to you on how the intersectionality feminism is the one who embraces the culture and the feminism, but they only explain to you that the intersectional feminism is the feminism that fight for the rest